What's up, YouTube? It's the kid RADbeezy, and you're tuning into Radical TV. Gang, gang. Before we get started, smash the notification bell, hit that like button. Today's video is titled, Are Modern Housewives Slaves? Let's dive in.
Your price too high.
I don't think my price is too high.
Okay. Well, what do you want?
Ultimately, I want a man that's a provider,
Okay.
willing to work
Okay.
in the beginning, but when it's time to have children, I do want to be able to stay at home and raise the children
All right.
so they're
How
able
many
to
kids would you like?
have issues with me. Ideally 3 to 4, but right now I would say at the age that I am, maybe 2.
How old are you?
32. Well, I'll be 32 soon.
Okay. So you want to be a traditional housewife then?
I wouldn't say ultra traditional, but somewhat, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you want the man to be a traditional provider.
Yes. Ideally, I would like that.
Okay. That sounds like an imbalance.
I don't necessarily think so.
Check, please. Check, please. Check, please. Check, please. Yeah, that's what we say when we hear that type of shit from y'all. Like, get out of here. Get out of here. Look what you're saying. Look what you're saying, what you're not going to do for the man that you say you want. And look what you're saying, what he is willing to do for you. You're speaking, you're alluding to the fact he's going to be willing to provide this life for you. And okay, he's doing it. He's agreeing to that. He's going to be the traditional provider. He's going to let you stay at home while you rear the children. Because you said in your example, you want to stay at home, raise them up until the point when they go to school. And you want multiple kids. Okay, that's fine. But you don't want to give anything. You don't want to give anything. And you're gonna. That's why you're 32. No man, no husband, no kids. Check, please. Check, please. Check, please. Because why? Through your mentality, I don't feel that's one-sided. I mean, I don't really feel that way. Really. Then you haven't taken time to research the man that you actually want and to see the things, what he wants in a woman. Let's dive back in.
If you need him to be a traditional provider, but he's not getting a traditional housewife, what is he getting that's better than a traditional housewife? Because his responsibility is here. What's he going to get that's here or above?
What does a traditional housewife entail?
Well, you tell me. Because you said you're not one. You picked the right one.
Housewife, I'm just imagining kind of being a slave. So that's
Let me stop you right here. Let me stop you right here. Where are your people from?
My mom's from Trinidad and my dad's from Jamaica. So I see that.
Hold on.
Why?
We don't need white supremacy, racism. Well, all we got is this: that you think that the women who came before you were slaves.
It's not that necessarily, but just what I'm seeing in the media and just all around me. I see women trying to be this housewife for men, traditional housewife for men, and they're just getting like, can I curse?
Well, be prepared to be challenged on anything you're gonna say, because you tell me in the media, I'm gonna ask you what you watch. Excuse me? What are you talking about? When a woman who's let's do it. Traditional housewife. What media are you talking about?
So let's. I don't know. Like I said, I want you to define what traditional house.
No.
Because traditional housewife is being home.
You can't overtalk me. That's how we don't do that. Stick it down. I said traditional housewife. You said, no, not traditional housewife. All right, so you was thinking of something. And then you talk about, well, from what I'm seeing in the media, I'm asking you what media? You haven't answered any questions. Okay. What media are you talking about?
Social media.
Where do you see traditional housewives in social media?
Everywhere.
Do you?
Well, I mean, that I know of, just women getting taken care of and not working. No.
So that's what a traditional housewife is, taken care of and not working.
To me, yes.
Oh, okay. So, and that's getting the shit end of the stick?
From what I've seen so far, yes.
Wow, lady. Wow, lady. Now, any ladies is watching this. Now, imagine if you didn't have to work, ladies. Imagine if you had that knight in shining armor that you always wanted, that you can raise your children. He provided the lifestyle that you wanted. Treated you well. Took you out on dates. Surprised you with things spontaneously. Do you feel that's the short end of the stick? And do you feel that's slavery? How is that slavery? Are you being held against your will? Running up somebody else's bag? Achieving your dreams on somebody else's dime? That's slavery, huh? And it's funny. You keep saying, "Oh, I don't know what a traditional housewife is," but you knew exactly what a traditional husband is. Because why? You stated the things. Man, provider, this and that. You provided all things that makes up a traditional man. But you couldn't name the things that make up a traditional woman. And it's funny. I don't believe that you don't know. Because if you researched what a traditional man wants, which actually you did some research on it because you actually know what he is and what he has to do to be a traditional man, why didn't you then look up what does a traditional woman has to do? And typically, traditional men don't want modern women. And it's funny, modern women don't want modern men, but they want a traditional man, but don't want to be a traditional woman. And you're not explaining the short end of the stick. You keep making reference to something that you're not saying because you keep answering every question with a question. And if you don't know, Ma, just say you don't know. Don't come in so definitive in your position about something that you don't know. Come into it with an open mind. Because right now you sound like an idiot saying you don't want to be something that you called into this show, obviously wanting to be one day. Or you wouldn't be calling into this show trying to get dating advice. If you didn't want to be someone's wife. But you view them as slaves. But your definition of slavery is when someone else is financially taking care of you. What the hell is that? So why are you trying to trade this life of independence then if you don't feel that that's slavery? Because obviously we know you in bondage to yourself right now. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to prove that you can do all this shit by your damn self. But actually getting the man that you describe that you want, and then you actually becoming the woman that he wants, that is slavery to you. And him actually caring for you the way you're going to be cared for financially and emotionally, that's the short end of the stick for you. Then what do bad times look like for you? What do good times look like for you? Because I am confused, Mom. Let's dive back in.
From what I've seen so far, yes. That's why I get your definition of it.
Well, why do you want it? Why do you want a man to take? Then why do you want a man to get out here and work and pay all the bills so you can sit at home?
I didn't necessarily phrase it as that. I said
that's what it is.
Wanted a provider for the.
You wanted to be able to work, and you wanted. I asked the question. So I'm very clear. I asked the question. You don't want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant. You want a man to be a traditional provider. I've said that 3 times.
Okay.
But how we get to it, you don't have to want to be the one carrying the financial family load. You want to be provided for.
Yeah.
And then what is he going to get? Because he's not going to get a traditional wife. What is he going to get?
He's going to get the love and support that I have.
You buy a goddamn dog for that.
Okay.
See, you ladies don't want a fair deal. You ladies want an unfair deal. You want a man to go out and do the things that men have always been expected to do since time immemorial, but yet you don't come to the table wanting to even come and act in good faith. You, women like you, I'm going to talk about you. You come in here talking about a traditional housewife as a slave. And I tell you what, you leave men alone, go get your girlfriend, go buy a dog and live and die by yourself. I get tired of you women talking about men as though we're something to hurt and abuse shit because you watch fucked up social media stories. Men are tired of having you put this shit on them. If we talked about y'all like this, you call us toxic. If we said, traditional housewives are some gold diggers, then there'll be all kind of problems.
Woo!
But this is what I mean. You guys are used to talking about men in some of the foulest ways.
Wow.
Then say you want them.
Okay.
So let's take it down. Do you want to stay home with your kids?
I absolutely do want to stay at home with my kids up until a certain age. Yeah.
Then where are they going to go after what age?
I was thinking maybe kindergarten.
And if you have 4 children, that means you'll be out of the workforce for at least 12 years. What do you do for a living?
I'm currently a flight attendant.
Flight attendant. So, being gone out of the workforce for 10, 12 years, think you're going to be able to go back to be a flight attendant at 50?
It's possible, but ideally I would.
Right. So, in other words, your husband, if you had 4 kids, he would have to carry the load because even if you sent the kids away to school after the youngest is in kindergarten, you just sit at home by yourself. Ain't that something? As I said, so like I said 10 minutes ago, why does he have to go out and work and you get to sit on your butt at home? That don't sound like slavery to me. That sounds like luxury.
Yes. The way you put it, yes, it does.
It's not the way I put it. We just talked through your example.
I can see from that viewpoint. But I also had a question before we go further.
I want to answer, but I didn't get to ask my questions about this scenario.
Okay.
Do you have a cookbook?
Do I have a cookbook?
Nope.
No, but I
so you can't cook. So basically.
Who said that?
I said that you can't. A woman who can cook. I come from cooking people. Women see traditional housewives understand that their province is the home.
Yes.
This is what I mean. So what I mean is, you can follow recipes. That means somebody else has to decide what the food for your family is. The most important thing is the food for the family, and you can't even be responsible for that. Someone else has to do it. You will follow it. So why don't your husband go get the woman who made the recipe?
Okay.
What do you bring into the table?
That's a valid point.
So this is what I mean.
That's a valid point.
When you ladies don't even bring,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Well, you don't even bring the basic stuff. It's like,
okay.
You're like if you had 4 kids, you'd be the 5th one.
So what are the basics? This is what I really want to know. What are the basics for you?
First of all, good faith. Good faith. First of all, I think you need to go back and understand what it means to be a woman and a wife. Because if you come in through saying slave, I really got nothing to talk about when women say shit like that.
I think you need to hear where I'm coming from, but I want you to continue before I explain that.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to continue before I explain.
Well, but it coming from a place of good faith, meaning that a man is something to be valued.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Meaning that the most important duty or responsibility a woman has on the planet is her children and her family. You don't want to have anybody else raising your kids, feeding your kids. You're supposed to take pride in these kind of things.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be proud about it.
Mm-hmm.
Following a recipe used to be insulting to women. They made their own recipes, but that's when women taught each other how to cook. So you're supposed to write in recipes to recipe books, not just looking on the back of a box. But you didn't. But sadly, many women today don't know how to do this stuff. You went to school, you got an education, pretty much like a guy that was gender neutral, and you're out here working. And then you want a man to come along and do what men have done for hundreds of years, but you're not even qualified to do what the women you used to call slaves did with joy.
I'm not calling them slaves necessarily. I'm just saying, depending on who they were married to.
Well, you can give me all the horror stories.
They were slaving.
Okay, who?
I can say that my mom was slaving. I can say that my mom had slaved for my dad.
Let me ask you a question.
She was working full time.
In this country, when a man and woman break up in this country, what percentage of the time do women leave financially devastated?
I don't know.
They don't. Men are the ones that leave financially devastated. 90+% of the time, custody goes to the wife. Half of the man's stuff that he had before. You need to go get familiar with this. This is why so many men are avoiding marriage, because women today are filing. We have a 50+% divorce rate, and women file divorce 8 to 9 times out of 10. It's because women have a financial incentive to file for divorce.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't look at Hollywood marriages, but you don't typically see women having to move back in with their mother because their husband got the home and the kids. This happens all the time with men. So, but your mother had the slave. Is your mother still married to your father?
She is.
Would she call herself a slave?
I don't know. I could ask her, but
how long did they marry?
About 32 years. They got married right before they had me.
Thank you very much. See, what you said to me, what reminds me of so much of what happened with silent generation and baby boomers. The baby boomer generation, my mother's generation, looked down upon their mother and their grandmother's generation because they had to slave for their husbands and do all this other kind of stuff. And then they realized that when they got to be later in life, that they had failed as women. They realized that every other generation of women up to them had done their jobs. They were the generation that spent all the money, sold the family houses. They're the most selfish generation that ever lived. And the ones that are still alive will tell you, we have failed as women because they're my parents. They made a generation of harder women and softer men, all because they looked upon what their mothers did as being beneath them, because they got a little funky piece of education, a little bit of government assistance, and were told that you were better than your man in the civil rights struggle. The only group of women that actually looks at the women past them as fools. But yet, now you're the most educated, you make more money, you're more educated than the previous groups of women, you have more options, opportunity, you're freest than ever been, and you're the most unhappy group of black women that ever existed.
I don't feel that way because
the stats say that though. Okay. You don't feel that way, the stats say that though. 1 in 4 of you will marry in a lifetime.
Okay.
You said I don't want to be a slave, and you said your mama's slave.
Yes, because I see and hear the way that my father treats my mother, and I know that she deserves better.
Oh, you need to stay in your place. You need to stay in your place.
In my place, how?
As a child. That's your mama, but that's his woman. You need to stay in your place. And that's one of the main problems we have in the black community. We got kids judging grown relationships. You don't have any children, do you?
No, I don't have any children yet.
Well, that's my point. You're judging your mother and father from a kid's standpoint. Not that they're just individuals. You don't know what your mama does behind closed doors to your daddy, but your mama knows enough to have her ass in the marriage. She got more than you do.
What's that?
A husband.
Okay.
How many siblings you got?
I have 4 brothers, 4 stepbrothers, half brothers, and 1 other brother. We have
How many children your mother have?
all 6 of us.
How many children do your father have?
Just the 2. Well, now.
So, hold on.
Now.
So let's start. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Your biological father?
Yes.
Went with your mother and raised kids from another man?
Yes.
No.
Later on.
I don't need your interpretation. The biology is all I'm concerned with. Your mother had children from another man?
Yes.
How many men?
My mother had children from another man. 2 other men.
2 other men. So your mama has 3
Before
baby daddies.
met my father.
So she's reproduced with 3 men.
Yes.
So your father accepted your mother, who had reproduced with 2 other men, and she hadn't been married to those men, right?
Correct.
Right. He sounds like a goddamn superhero as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, Lord.
Yep, and we're gonna end it right there, folks. Man, this is so true. To me, he does sound like a superhero as well. Shout out to her freaking dad, who she doesn't appreciate so much, and shout out to her mother, who is not a slave, but she understands her role. Her mom has some sense. Her mom knew that, you know what, I had 4 kids before I got with this man. 4 kids by 2 different guys. So what did she do? She became the best woman that she could be. On the outside, that looked like that she was stupid to other women that was lonely and don't have shit. Yes, it did. But she knew she was on the cusp of being unhappy and not having shit with 4 kids to show for it. And she wasn't about to let that happen to her. So she catered to her man. And while all y'all looking at her like she's stupid, she is that exception of the rule that y'all will keep bringing up all the time. Well, you can have 4 kids and somebody wife you. Yeah, but are you doing the things that her mom did? So don't bring up the exceptions to the rule if you don't bring up what they do.